The Suicide Squad is a movie that came out last year, which was a pretty cool movie. And it showed and showcased a lot of different characters that have appeared in the Suicide Squad or that may never have appeared on the Suicide Squad. And actually, that's one of the coolest things about the Suicide Squad. They're basically a ragtag group of criminals that want to knock off time from their sentences. And one way that they do that is through the government agency Checkmate, or Argus. It's kind of the same thing. Checkmate and Argus have some slight differences, but they're essentially the same thing. And so these criminals are basically given an option where Argus is like, hey, you need a break and we need someone to get killed. Hence the name the Suicide Squad. The real name of them is Task Force X, which is kind of an appropriate name. I mean, really, that's what they're doing. They're a task force that comes together to solve problems that the government basically needs deniability. And if it's just a random group of metahumans or people like Captain Boomerang who aren't actually metahumans but are still really skilled with a particular set of skill set, then the government approaches them and basically says, we'll help you out if you help us out. The great thing about it for the government is that the Suicide Squad is very aptly named. Very often they go up against people that really will end up killing them. Much to the bad news of them. But the cool thing about that is that you get this constantly circulating group of people. And we've seen all sorts of... The Suicide Squad is basically who's who to villainy. Not everyone has made it onto the team. I mean, certainly Lex Luthor has never been a member of the Suicide Squad, but that would be cool to see him. Similarly, neither has the Joker. Now, the Joker was in the movie. Actually, the Joker has been in both movies. Both movies? Yeah. There was an Assault on Arkham, an animated movie which came out 2, maybe 3 years ago, which also featured the Joker in it. But it also featured for the first time Harley Quinn in video form as a member of the Suicide Squad. And as you all know, she was also in the recent Suicide Squad live-action movie. And because of this constantly changing number of individuals, we get from a creative standpoint, it brings a lot of flexibility into what the team is and who they are and how they all work together. And it's not impossible to say that a number of them could be absolutely completely crazy, or a number of them could be completely animal-based, or a number of them could be excellent with blades, swords, and cutting people apart. And there are a lot of villains in the DC universe that basically do that can use swords or are completely crazy or that are animal-based. But at the head of all of this is a woman named Amanda Waller. And I have to say that the casting of the Suicide Squad movie, the recent one that just came out, was spot on. Amanda Waller is a character with kind of a questionable ethics, but she's the kind of person that will get the job done no matter what the cost, which is why it's so appropriate that she's in charge of Task Force X, where she probably doesn't lose any sleep if various members of her squad are blown up or killed in the process of this. But she's also the one who came up with the idea of implanting a bomb in the back of people's heads or like in their necks or whatever, so that if they do anything wrong, well, click, and there goes one criminal who attempted to escape. But it's one of those things, it's totally legal because they have all the paperwork for it, and it's just like, you signed it, buddy! And the villains know exactly what they're getting themselves into. They knew that it was a risky activity and that they would be having these bombs planted in their heads, and that if they did not listen to what Waller said, and goodbye bad guy. But it's a really kind of a fun story where Waller is a patriot. She is. She wants to protect her country and she wants to protect her people. And Viola Davis is amazing with strong or with strong characters that have a potentially questionable motivation for stuff, and a very loose morality as well. And so, like one of the things that I was most excited about in the Suicide Squad movie that came out in 2016 was the fact that they got Viola Davis to play Waller, because she absolutely nailed it, and it was beautiful to see. So it's pretty cool to have that. So yeah, that's kind of who the Suicide Squad is and what they're all about. Task Force X, rough and tumble bunch of people, but under Waller's control, you just know that they're going to be successful, or they're all going to die. Which, for the American public, or for the general public, not just American, but for all over the world, that's a wonderful thing, because now you've got many fewer crazy, psychopathic criminals running around. Because Waller, boom. Or else they all died in the mission. Either way, it's win-win. And the best part about it? Government deniability. Oh, we had no idea that people were attempting to stop this big problem. Have a good one.